Hi, I'm Krista Millán, and most of you know me as a pet event planner. I'm extremely passionate about providing amazing birthday parties for your pets, but I'm also extremely passionate about saving lives. Normally, during the month of September, I'm out in the field doing I'm doing suicide awareness events. But due to COVID-19, I've not been able to do so. So I thought it'd be a great idea to introduce you to Carly Stansell. She is a licensed clinical social worker, as well as certified in animal assisted therapy. So let Carly introduce herself. Go ahead, Carly.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I so appreciate being here today. I think the need to spread awareness is so huge. So I really appreciate the opportunity to get the word out there and educate people a little bit further. Like Crystal said, I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I'm also a certified life and success coach. I provide ongoing therapy and life coaching services, but I also provide emotional support animal letters to those in need.
Awesome. Carly, can you clarify what the difference is between an emotional support animal, a therapy dog, and a service dog? Because I think a lot of people get those confused.
They do, and very easily to understand the confusion. I can't stress the importance of understanding the difference enough. So let's start with emotional support animals, right? So these serve as more of a companion for the owner. And to order to qualify for an emotional support animal, you need to fulfill some requirements. So generally, these are people suffering from mental disorders, so anxiety, depression, or any other mental or emotional disability. PTSD is a huge one that I often see. And their emotional support animal helps mitigate those symptoms that come along with that mental disability. It helps them complete major life activities that are difficult for them, sleeping, focusing, working, things of that nature. And so there's no specific training that is required for these emotional support animals. They're more of a companion.
Okay.
Service dogs, on the other hand, they still absolutely provide comfort and emotional support. I mean, what animal doesn't, right? But these dogs are trained to complete specific tasks that the owner needs. So these are more of your owners that are deaf, blind, or their dog has been trained to tell them when to take their medication. So because these service dogs are more often needed rather than emotional support animals, they have more legal protection. So they're actually covered under the ADA, the Americans with Disability Act. So that allows these service dogs to go almost anywhere where emotional support animal cannot go. Therapy dogs are wonderful. These animals are allowed in facilities to comfort people, give them affection. You'll often see them maybe in airports or libraries or even universities around exam time. So they don't have to be trained to do a specific task like a service dog, but they're there to socialize with new people, to bring them comfort. They do have to complete an obedience training, and then they do have to be registered with the National Therapy Dog Organization.
And what are the benefits of having an emotional support animal?
Oh, wow, the list could go on and on. For those of you who have an emotional support animal, I'm sure you already know, but really to just kind of be general, providing that comfort and support is so huge when you have a mental disability. Sometimes that's all you need is someone or an animal to be there for you for support. It can make or break somebody's life when we talk about suicide prevention, right? That's a common theme that I've noticed when writing these letters for my clients is they re-find a purpose in their life. Their animal needs them. Take them for a walk, to feed them. They feel important. And that benefit alone can make or break somebody's life in all reality. So just to generalize it, the comfort and support is the most beneficial piece of these animals.
Yeah, and a sense of belonging and, having something that you can go home to or something that you love. I mean, there's a lot of people that are really lonely, and animals have a great way of comforting them. So I think that definitely helps for sure. Can you
Especially
tell?
during these times, right?
Oh, yeah, especially now. I mean, right now, suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the United States, and we're averaging about one suicide every 12 minutes. So those statistics are extremely alarming. And
Wow.
especially with the COVID going on right now, they say that those numbers are definitely going to increase. So I think that that's why it's important to discuss these issues we're having and, the benefits of these emotional support animals. Tell me a little about the letters that you do for your clients.
Yeah, absolutely. So, first and foremost, we have to go through a clinical interview process because I have to make sure that they actually do meet criteria for a mental health diagnosis.
Okay.
And this gets a little bit into kind of the scams that we're seeing today, right? Because a lot of those websites, you just type in your information and then all of a sudden you're issued a letter. Well, there was no clinical interview that was done to ensure that this person actually does meet criteria for a diagnosis. So I really take that process seriously because that's why people are having such a difficult time these days is because of the amount of people who have abused uh, getting an emotional support animal. And so that's what that process looks like. It's just gathering some basic information about their animal, even if they have their animal yet. Um, and then really just diving into their symptoms to ensure that they meet criteria for a diagnosis. Their diagnosis is not listed on their letter, it's not
Okay.
required. It will just say they struggle with coping with anxiety or depression or both. It's not going to say this person has PTSD.
Right. And like you said, so they're not really allowed out in public places with their animals. Is that how I understand it? Um,
Yeah, no, great question. So the emotional support animals are covered legally under the Fair Housing Act and the Air Carrier Act.
okay.
That allows them to travel, air travel with their animal, and also to live with their animal without any discrimination. So they don't have to pay pet fees. They're living just as somebody without an animal. Um, Often the landlords will say that, oh, well, because of their breed or their size, they can't be here. Well, if they're an emotional support animal, according to the Housing of Urban Development Rules and Regulations that came out in January of this year, on page 14 to be exact, you cannot restrict a animal for its breed or size. That's considered discrimination. And so then the next step is then to file a complaint with the HUD.
Wow, that's great. I had an issue before I have a service dog. It's a Rottweiler. I was involved in a very bad car accident. So I was using him for if I were to fall down because he's like a heavy duty dog. So he was always there. And I remember trying to get a place to live and they were like, oh, it's a Rottweiler, a restricted breed. We can't have them. But that really saved me. And he's the kindest dog that I know. He loves everybody. But, the people are very judgmental. So I appreciate the fact that they've opened the doors up to people that are, in need of these animals and understanding that, they're not abusing the system. They really
Mhm.
need that comfort and support, and to be discriminated against, by telling them they can't have the particular animal or that, they're not animals, no animals allowed, that can be very challenging. So I'm glad to hear that they have incorporated that.
Absolutely. And I really help my clients, I advocate through them throughout the whole process. So if that means getting on the phone with a landlord and emailing them the HUD rules and regulations, I absolutely do that because I agree with you. It's very important.
Yeah, because I can imagine that, not everybody knows that these rules exist. And, it's good that you're there to inform them of that. If somebody wanted to get in contact with you, how would they do so?
Yeah, absolutely. My phone number is listed on my website as well as my email. On my website, you can fill out the form, which goes directly to my email. You're sent a link to schedule our clinical interview. That is the best way to schedule your appointment. My website is mindsetnavcoach.com. Again, that's mindsetnavcoach.com. And I'm sure that you can list that for people.
Yeah, I'll definitely
as you post this. Short for Mindset Navigation. That's my business. Let's navigate your mindset.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Carly. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me today. And if I have any questions or anything that I can come up with, I'll definitely reach out to you. But like I said, I really appreciate you coming on today.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're so welcome. Talk to you later.